Hey everyone, this is Ed Kime, CEO over at Quantcha, and today I am excited to announce the Quantcha Challenge. And in this video, we're going to go over some of the details and ground rules to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks. And we're also going to send a special thanks out to Tradier and Zacks who are sponsoring us and supporting what we're doing here. And before we get into any of the details, I've got to cover a couple quick disclaimers. The first and most important is that all the ideas that are expressed in the campaign or anything we do is completely for educational purposes and it does not constitute investment advice. You're more than welcome to follow along on your own if you like the ideas that we're going or the approach we're taking, but of course you are, on your own. We are also going to use stock options very heavily throughout this campaign, and it is really the focus of the campaign itself. And options can be very risky, and they're not suitable for everyone. So be sure that you're going to know what you're getting into before you get involved with options, and of course, read all the disclaimers and everything else you can find out there on the internet. Another key thing is that all the investment work that's being done here is being done by people who are retail investors at Quantcha. There are no professional investors involved. That's just more of an FYI. We're using the tools and the resources that are available to us, but nobody here is a professional and has any professional experience. And of course, all the content and investment decisions that are made here are driven by Quantcha and people at Quantcha, unless otherwise noted. One sponsor we want to thank first is Tradier. Tradier is a partner of Quantcha's, and we've worked with them for really almost since the inception of Quantcha itself. It's been a great API for us to integrate with, and we've been able to provide a great experience to many of our customers thanks to that integration work. So if you are developing tools or you're involved or you like the tools you have and you want to have a better experience, definitely check out what Tradier has to offer. Another partner that we're very excited to work with is Zacks. Zacks is world famous, of course, and one of the great things about Zacks is the Zacks rank, which is where earnings estimate data is taken and the revisions are used in order to generate a ranking from 1 to 5 for stocks, where 1 indicates strong buys and 5 indicates strong sells. And what's really perfect about this is the rank is designed to predict price movement over the next 1 to 3 months, which fits perfectly over the time frame that we're going to work with here with some of the option trades we're going to have as part of this campaign. And of course, because they combine quantitative models and expert analysis, you get the best of both worlds. So if you're interested more, of course, head out to Zacks.com. So now, what is the Quantcha Challenge? Well, simply put, we're going to start with a $10,000 portfolio, and we're going to take published equity analyst recommendations. And purely based on those recommendations, we're going to trade that using trades found on Quantcha that are options based. And this is a pretty simple concept, and this is what a lot of investors do these days is you take your portfolio, you follow professional advice, and you try to trade that the best that you can using the best available means that you have. So what we're going to do is we're going to source our equity analysis from the bull and the bear of the day from Zacks. And these are published every day, but in our case, we're just going to work on what's published on Fridays. And recently, for example, there were 2 published. There was an Infinera and Louisiana Pacific as the bull and respective bear of the day. Each time one of these is published, there's a nice snapshot that's kind of a synopsis of the analysis of the company, as well as details about how the company's been performing recently and the expectations of the near future. And then we're going to take that and turn those into option trades with Quantcha. Another important aspect to the Quantcha Challenge here is that for the purposes of what we're doing, we're not going to take any additional research or guidance from Zacks or other sources. We're going to take the bull and the bear of the day, we're going to take the analysis of that bull or bear, and then we're going to move that over to Quantcha, where we're going to pick an expiration for our stock, and that's going to help us on Quantcha model out where we expect the stock to go. So in the case of Infinera, it was the bull of the day, so we're going to say we're moderately bullish. We might even pull back our lower end a little bit when we model out the trades. So we'll pick the moderately bullish thing. We'll tweak based on information such as the visual option chain or the implied volatility, maybe some of the break evens for the options or the forward pricing and so forth. And then ultimately we'll have a range that we work with, and we'll select a budget that helps us to figure out the right number of legs and the right exact positions to take. Now, once we select that information, Quantcha will go ahead and find the best trades available for the view we have, and then we'll tweak that based on the returns we're looking for. We might be more aggressive or less aggressive depending on the nature of the analysis of the stock. We'll also decide how we want to sort them. Some stocks we might be more aggressive on in terms of looking for bigger returns, whereas others we want to minimize risk. And of course, once we find a trade we like, we're going to click through to get the analysis on Quantcha. And we'll analyze things like the specific details of the trade, the expectations for the full implied range, as well as other information that's available from Quantcha. And using our integration, we will then go ahead and place the trade on Tradier Brokerage with an account that we have set up. And we're going to follow this. We're going to be as transparent as we can, showing this all out to people so that you can see exactly what we're doing. So there's really no question about how this is being done. Once we get to the Tradier Brokerage site, we'll set the nature of the trade and the duration, and then finally we will submit the trade. And you'll get to see pretty much everything throughout the entire duration of the campaign itself. Now, we are going to work under some restrictions just for the purposes of being as transparent as possible. The first thing is we're only going to have one trading session per week, and it's going to be around 1 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. We're going to open two option positions, a bull and a bear position on trades exposed by Quantcha. And, we may optionally close some selected positions, such as something that looks like it might close partially in the money in the case of a spread where we want to get out of it, or what have you. We may or may not record the closing of the selected positions, but we're definitely going to close the process, or we're going to record the process of all the positions we open so that you can see exactly how we take the expert advice, move it through Quantcha, and come up with a trade that we then go ahead and place. The idea here is to give some better education on how to use the tools, but also to show that you can responsibly trade options and trade for a modest profit using some of the ideas and tools involved here. Another restriction we have is that we are limiting the campaign to 2 months. So we're going to have 9 trading sessions that begin May 1st, and it's going to go through on June 26th. On May 1st, we start with a portfolio that's got $10,000 in cash, and on June 26th, we close everything out. So that's all there is to it, and then we'll see where we get by the end of the time frame we have working here. Another restriction we're putting on ourselves here is that we're placing trades using cash market orders, and we're not leveraging any additional margin. So that means that, simply put, first is we're trading market, so we're not even going to try to shave the bids or the asks. We're simply going to ask the market to do the best it can for us. We're going to pay the ask most likely, and we're going to receive the bid when we sell. That's just the nature of the challenge that we're working with here. And we are working on a cash basis, so we're not going to do anything. We're not going to open positions that we can't cover, and we're also not going to get leverage beyond what's available with the cash we have on hand. This, of course, introduces some challenges. One being the short campaign window. Of course, if you're trading over a 2-month period, there's always opportunities for loss, and you might not have the opportunity to bring it back up, but we're going to do the best we can to make some nice profits. And of course, working with market orders will dampen the profitability, as I mentioned earlier, but that's just the nature of how we're working here. And the fact that we're working with cash purely limits some of the leverage we have, but that's fine. And then finally, and this could end up being one of the biggest challenges, is that we are only trading on Friday afternoons, and so our agility is a little bit limited. What that means is that if we open a bullish position on a Friday afternoon, and then on Monday bad news comes out and the stock starts to slide, we won't close that position until at earliest the following Friday. And that is just the nature part of the challenge we're putting in place. We're trying to be as transparent as possible and to not focus so much on trying to game the market or trade on a daily or hourly basis, but more to say, let's try to be responsible, let's trade as non-professionals do, and let's try to come up with a good strategy for making some money based on great advice. So if you got any questions or feedback, you can hit us up at hello@quantcha.com or go ahead and leave a comment down in the section below. Thanks and happy trading.